if you don't know yet, there is a huge game tonight in Atlanta. And we are in football season, but we're not even talking about football, all right? We're talking about basketball, women's basketball. Who's playing tonight?
This is a big deal on a lot of levels, Emily. Obviously, it's the Atlanta Dream in town hosting the Indiana Fever, the third matchup between the two of them this year. But since that Olympic break, Emily, in the middle of the summer, things feel a little different for the Atlanta Dream, too. So I'm really looking forward to this one tonight. You know, and we get to play it in State Farm Arena. Come on now, it's going to be awesome.
This team is on a mission. It feels a lot like last season. And let me introduce myself if you guys don't know who I am yet. Emily Gagnon, Connor Hines. You guys might not know Connor quite yet, but you will. You'll get very familiar with him. But yeah, you know, they came back from the Olympic break and they seem like they're a team on a mission. They're playing with a purpose. And if you take a look at last season, Connor, this is what happened last year. Mm-hmm. They came out slow that first half of the season. The second half, they came out hot. Yeah. So right now we're having kind of a repeat of what happened last year. And that's a good thing, obviously, because this team wants to go to the playoffs. Their goal is not to only go to the playoffs, but to actually win a round. Last year they made it. They got swept. I know we're not talking about last year. If you're in that organization, you know, teams never like to talk about the previous year, but you kind of have to have a reference, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, here I am. My reference is they're kind of doing like what they did last season. And obviously that would be a good thing because then they would make it to the playoffs. Right.
And that's not a bad frame of reference at all, of course, like you just said, given how they finished up the second half of the season. And the thing about the WNBA, there's time, right? You got you know, eight teams like in the hunt right now, and then the Dream right on the bubble, I guess you could say. So there's time for the Dream. I think it definitely begins here tonight against, you know, one of the best in the Fever, and even a team like the Indiana Fever with Kaitlyn Clark and all the praise that she's garnered, you know, national attention. Even they are a team that, you know, could really use this win tonight against the Dream. So I think you're going to see two teams that really want it right now. Obviously, the Dream came hot out of the Olympic break, winning 3 of 4 there, and hopefully they can bounce back after that loss to the Mercury.
Yeah, make it 4 or 5. Why not? And listen, the crowd tonight. We can't talk about this game without talking about the crowd that will wait for these two teams from State Farm Arena. The last time these two played, it was from that arena, and they broke a WNBA record in the state of Georgia, right? Over 17,000 fans were there. And tonight they're thinking it might be 19.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to break their own record, which is a pretty cool thing to say right now. And, you know, call it the Kaitlyn Clark effect, but regardless of the reasons for why we're playing this game in State Farm Arena tonight, it's a huge opportunity to not just showcase the league, but showcase Atlanta and showcase why basketball matters so much, regardless of who's playing in the basketball game here tonight at State Farm Arena. I can only imagine the crowd's going to be rocking. We're going to hear from more of our reporters throughout the night who are actually there. But it's going to be exciting on a number of levels, just in terms of, you know, the general excitement that a regular season WNBA game can bring to a place like State Farm Arena. That's going to be a lot of fun.
And I can't say it enough. These women are so deserving. Yes, Kaitlyn Clark has almost certainly, you know, done this. I don't want to say single-handedly, but she's a huge part about the interest, right? She took the country by like storm during her last season in college, and now people want to see her play. But it's bringing so much attention on women's basketball, and these women, they feel it. They feed, like literally they're out there playing and they feed off the crowd, which they didn't have before, which is quite amazing for them. But I think, you know, you guys probably want to hear from some of these ladies and the coaches, the people actually playing in the game. Tanisha Wright, we heard from her, you know, moments ago ahead of this game, just talking about what her team is going to face and just the excitement surrounding this game once again.
Hey, Coach, tonight's game, the Dream are right on the edge of a big game. All games are big, of course, but what are you planning to do against this Indiana team that's been different than the last time you played them?
Yeah, I think a couple of the key points for us that we'll definitely focus on is the way Indiana's playing in terms of their pace, really pushing the ball, getting up and down, playing in transition, doing a great job of that. Obviously, they're great on the boards, offensive rebounding, but I think we also have to push pace. I think we have to do a good job of playing in pace and transition as well as the half court as well. And then just play our game. You know, the fact that we have this group together, playing well, playing a good brand of basketball, that excites me. And so we have to continue to focus on that and getting better.
Coach, you mentioned the crowd and also your team playing well. This opportunity to be able to play good basketball in front of the home crowd, how do you guys kind of take advantage of this moment to help bring some of these fans over to the other stadium?
Yeah, like I said, I think the fact that we're playing a good brand of basketball, we have some amazing talent on our team as well. So I think just going out and displaying that at a high level, and hopefully, you know what I mean, this type of crowds continues to happen around the W, not just here, but around the W.
Coach, I know that Kaitlyn is your opponent tonight, but what does she mean to the WNBA? What has she brought to the WNBA?
Good question. Like I said earlier, you see this crowd. We understand that, you know, a big part of this has to do with Kaitlyn Clark and the brand of basketball she's brought here and she's been playing. But like I said, I think we have some great players as well that have done an amazing job of playing a great brand of basketball these last couple of games. And so we're going to continue to focus on that. Yeah, I think it's just them playing off each other. Like, obviously, we had Wright missing for the last however many games, but them just creating a combination and a bond together and a chemistry and playing off each other, I think that really helps them. They understand each other's, where they're going to be on the court and different things like that.
And piggyback from all that question, Coach, your defense has been especially your backcourt defense, has been changed since Jordan came and Ryan, everybody's healthy. Playing against Indiana tonight, do you expect your wings and your players back there to be able to make a difference than the last time you played them?
Yeah, I expect that we're going to continue in the way that we've played since the break. Like I said, I really believe that we're playing a good brand of basketball right now, both offensively and defensively. Our players are really locked in on both ends of the floor, and as a result, we're playing well. And so I think that's our focus, is to continue to grow, continue to play at the level that we're playing at. So. Commonalities, yes. I think Emmanuel, hinted at that a little bit. Our defense, for sure. The way our players are coming out and defending and executing on that end and taking pride in and defending at a high level. I think that's one of the biggest things that we've grown in and that we're looking to continue to grow in. Yeah, the group, obviously having our full group back, missing AP, missing Cheyenne, but having our group back, I think, really was a big booster for them. I think the break in general was a good time for them to kind of come together, spend some time with one another, learn about each other. It's always, you guys look at it from on the court, right? But there's a part and a piece of that the off the court matters as well. So during that break, I think they got some really good time together to spend, laugh, joke, and have a good time with each other, which was really good for us. Yeah, that's easy. The only thing that matters right now is the game in front of us. And tonight, that's Indiana. And so, again, we're going to continue to focus on the style of play that we've been playing and how we've been playing in terms of defending at a high level and executing as well on the offensive end.
I can't say it enough. Tanisha Wright has done a heck of a job with her team in Atlanta. I know it's been tough and had some bumps along the way, but it takes time to build a winning team, and she has done really well. Last year, them going to the playoffs, again, losing, but was not expected.
No, not at all. And I think Tanisha Wright's in a good spot only because she has so many people around her like Tina Charles. I mean, this is a player who's almost doubles as a coach out there. And we heard her speak earlier today. We were talking a little bit before we heard that sound about, the atmosphere and this being something that maybe, a lot of these players haven't experienced before. Well, Tina Charles has. She's played in Madison Square Garden. She's played on big stages. So she knows what she's getting into, and I think it's going to be an act like you've been there before moment for a lot of people. But in the case of some of these players, they have been there before. So the excitement and everything that we're going to see out there at State Farm Arena tonight, it's just going to be a lot of fun. So I'm excited.
And one of the things Coach Wright's players respect about her so much is the fact that she played.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Let's be honest.
Not everyone did.
She's a former player.
Yeah.
So when she speaks, they listen. At practice, she has a ton of energy. She doesn't expect her players to do things that she didn't do as a player. You know what I'm saying? She's
Right.
not wasting anyone's time.
Yeah.
She's about her business, and she just got back from Paris herself, right?
Yeah,
maybe that inspired her a little bit.
I think this Olympic break is going to play big dividends for the Atlanta Dream, honestly. I mean, Tanisha went over there. Obviously, Ryan Howard, despite the injury, she was a part of all the Olympic stuff over there. And, something like that, some time away from the game in a totally different atmosphere with different teammates, different people around you, that can be really good for the psyche sometimes, just to have a hard break in the middle of the WNBA season. As weird as it might feel, I think this could turn out to be a really good thing for the Dream going forward. So she's got the Paris experience.
I can't disagree with that. A lot of people were not happy to see Kaitlyn Clark not in Paris.
Right.
But we're not here to talk about that. But we are here for you to listen to Kaitlyn Clark pregame. This happened about 20 minutes or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
She addressed the media. Let's see how the star is feeling ahead of this one.
Hey, Kaitlyn. Just obviously now you're used to all the hype and everything like that, but when you go to all these cities, you go to see the stadiums and you see so many people wearing Clark jerseys or shirts and stuff, what's that feel like to you, and kind of just, how's that like?
Yeah, I think it's fun for myself. I don't know if this is on or not, but I think a lot of these cities that we're still going to now is like kind of my second time, so kind of know what to expect, kind of know what the venue's like, but the crowds, like, that's never something that gets old or something that you get used to. Like, it's super fun for myself, and every place is still really different and unique in their own way. Obviously, we're just in Minnesota and now we're here in Atlanta, and the arenas are different. I felt that, like, the last time we were here, there was like a lot of just basketball fans, like a lot of people that really appreciated the game and understand the game and wanted to support the game of basketball, especially women's basketball. So I expect the same. And for myself, like, it's really fun getting to see young kids in your jersey or, whoever it is, and, trying to take some time to interact with them.
Kaitlyn, you've hit some recent milestones, and you entered the night with 81 made three-pointers, which trails the Dream's Ryan Howard, who had 85 in 2022 for most made three-pointers by a rookie. What's your perspective when you hit these milestones and that you could hit another one here tonight in Atlanta against the Dream, against Ryan Howard?
Yeah, I mean, usually not something you're really aware of until it happens, I guess. And obviously Ryan had a really good rookie season, and she was somebody I played with when I was in high school, and she was in college on Team USA, on our U19 team. So, I know her pretty well and how talented she is. So it's definitely really cool. But I think it just comes with playing the game the right way. Especially playing offense the right way. I think our offense has continued to start to flow a little bit more, has opened up some looks for myself along with my teammates. So just continuing to do that, I think, is going to be really important for this group.
Kaitlyn, Coach Size has done a lot to bring the team together. Like, I've seen you play baseball and all kind of different initiatives to kind of bring the team together. Have you seen those things translate on the court?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to really translate anything skill-wise, but I think having good relationships with your teammates is super important. I think sometimes that can be hard to do at the pro level. It's something that's very, kind of easy in college. That's who you're kind of stuck with for 4 years. Obviously, things are a little different now with the transfer portal, but I think in the pro level, you don't always have one time to build those relationships. Like, you're professionals, you're trying to go about your business and do all the right things. And I think it was a good break for us, obviously, the Olympic break, having that time where we had most of our team together and being able to do some fun stuff away from basketball where the environment's loose and it's fun and you kind of get to know your teammates better and their personalities. And, I think maybe it doesn't really need to be on a deep level, but those fun, whether it's, playing baseball or putt-putt or whatever it is, like, those are fun activities that you get to share with your teammates and be competitive. And I think it definitely helps grow relationships from that standpoint.
Got second row on the left.
Hey, Kaitlyn, you all haven't played the Dream since late June. What are some of the things that have been different that you've seen from the Dream since that last time?
Yeah, well, I think both teams are very different in the ways that they play. Obviously, the injuries that they had, I think they're starting 2 or 3 different people differently than what we played them when we played them in June. So you can go back and watch that film and watch some of what they did, but you try to watch more recently of what they've done. They're really good in transition. They have really good ISO players that are really good one-on-one, so you're gonna have to be able to guard your man. But I think our team defense is gonna be very important. I think we kind of we're a step behind versus Minnesota, and that's not something we can do tonight. Is like we really got to pull over in rotations and be there for our teammates because they have some very talented players on this team. But I think they're running some different sets as well too on the offensive end, and being much more intentional in that action. So just preparing for that too.
Kaitlyn, how do you describe where you are now as opposed to the start of your rookie season? You've had the break. You've had a couple of wins now after the break. How do you feel now as far as the mental and the physical aspects of getting the leadership and your legs and your mind together for this second half run?
Yeah, I'm just trying to take it game by game. I feel the best I've probably felt all year long from a comfortability standpoint, but also from just how my body feels and understanding the game and everything like that. I still feel like I'm learning every single day, and I still feel like there's just so many areas for me to continue to improve. And I think that's the most exciting part for myself, and I think also for our team. Like, you still find areas where we kind of have a lapse, and that was the case for Minnesota, where I think Christy broke it down, and in about like 6 minutes of gameplay, we gave up like 30-some points. So it's like, those little margins, you can't make those mistakes versus these teams. It really costs you. You can maybe give it up one time where they go on a little run, but you can't give up 2 or 3 runs. It's really hard to recover from that. So I think just continuing to push myself and be a good leader and find my voice too. Obviously, that can be hard at times as a rookie and as a point guard, but that's something that's going to be very important for this team down the stretch. And, every single game is going to be very important for us. And, obviously this one's especially important.
Good. Last one on Zoom. Matt, want to go ahead?
I don't think that's not a conversation that we've honestly had. I think everybody's aware. It doesn't really need to be spoken. If you are following the league, it's very evident of what it is, and obviously the playoffs are where we want to be, and we know how close that race is going to be. So every single game is important, no matter who you're playing, whether people are have already clinched their playoff spot, whether they might not even make the playoffs. Every single game is going to be important for us down the stretch, and I think every person in our locker room knows that. But I think we're just trying to go one game at a time. Even if you lose this game, not all is lost. Obviously, we come into every game with a mentality to win, but this is a very tough league. We understand that and we know that, and I feel like we're playing good basketball right now. So just continuing to try to carry that through this.
All right, thank you, everybody.
All right, I don't think you need an introduction, right? Or I don't think she needs an introduction, but that was Kaitlyn Clark here to face the Dream tonight in Atlanta, and that's the Fever. I'm assuming everybody knows what we're talking about at this point.
Would
once
think.
my mom starts telling me things about sports and talking about certain teams and players, that's how I know. That's my gauge. I'm like, once Marcia tells me, like, hey, have you covered that player? Have you talked to her? I'm like, okay. All right, mainstream.
Marcia knows what's going on.
Marcia knows what's going on. But of course, I love hearing from Kaitlyn Clark, and she's just so composed all the time. I'm like, is she ever going to show anything, show any emotion as far as the pressure being too much? But we still haven't seen it from her.
No, she speaks like a pro, and I mean, she's ready for this stage, as we knew when she was playing at Iowa. I mean, she's spoken like that for years now, and the fact that this game is treated just like any other, despite the environment, despite everything that we're going to have there at State Farm tonight. This is going to be treated like any other game, business-like. And like I said, I mean, the Indiana Fever, they're a couple jumps ahead, the Dream in the standings, but, sub 500 team right now as well. They need this win as well. So, they're going to be fighting for it just like the Atlanta Dream are going to be tonight. So.
We've mentioned the Olympics break quite a bit and how it's benefited the Atlanta Dream, but I think it's worth mentioning that for Kaitlyn Clark, it also helped her. Yes. And I know people weren't happy to not see her in Paris. However, it gave her the break that she did not get coming out of school. Because a lot of people might not realize, like, in the WNBA, you go from playing, okay? And she played on the biggest stage, so she played all the way through. Had absolutely no break.
Like a matter of a week.
Correct. Got drafted and then started playing.
Right.
So there was no break for her. So for me, in this second half of the season, it'll be interesting to see if she has a little bit more swagger. And it's going to come because now she's kind of, I don't want to say completely used to the league, but she has, a taste of it, and she's played in it for that first half of the season. So I think, you know, every time the Dream or any other team in the WNBA will face the Fever, I think it's going to get harder and harder.
That's well said, because, you know, there was so much talk made about Kaitlyn Clark not making the Olympic team. You're right, she hasn't had a break, and maybe you know, there's an element of having some time off. Obviously, she didn't take actual time off, but having time off. I think another thing that people don't realize is that the WNBA plays so often. I mean, three to four games a week. This has been go for everybody in the league, and it's great because the league has you know, garnered so much more attention just this season alone. So yes, I think that break will benefit her and everyone else. I think just in terms of the product that we're going to see out there on the floor tonight, Emily, I think it's going to be different from the first couple matchups between these two teams. One of the matchups, we didn't have Ryan Howard. Obviously, one of the matchups, Kaitlyn Clark was held really in check to just 7 points in that game. We haven't seen, I think, these two teams at their fullest potential of ability, and I really think that's something we see tonight.
And one of the biggest, I guess, keys to winning for me, in my opinion, this is my opinion, is Tina Charles, okay? I mean, you mentioned her earlier in the show, but 12 years, okay, in the WNBA. She just last week became the second all-time leading scorer in WNBA history.
Pretty awesome.
Okay, and she got to do it on her home court. So, of course, you had the home crowd. And then she was presented the game ball the next game, cried. It was awesome, right?
Not to mention with Diana Taurasi in the house.
Yeah, I mean, you are talking about legends here in the WNBA. But my favorite part of her story, and it's probably her least favorite, is the fact that she sat out last year. And she was a free agent. No one called. Sat on the couch all year, okay? And this happens to a lot of athletes, and that's not just in basketball.
Right.
It's in any sport, okay? And she didn't want to give up, but she thought maybe, all right, it's time. I might have to retire, right? And then she got a call. She got a call from Tanisha, and Tanisha gave her a shot. They needed her. They called her, and she was ready when called upon. And that's, to me, speaks just volumes about her leadership, and what she has brought to the team. And let's hear from her from earlier in the day.
Curious about the dynamic of being in here for 2 games a year, and it's because of the visiting team. What's it like for you guys?
I think it's more so about the fans, you know. We're building a great fan base. It's great that there's a fitting arena in Atlanta just to accommodate. Obviously, we know who Kaitlyn Clark is and what she's been her impact in this league and especially this year. So however we can get it, I'll take it for me personally. So just thankful that I'm able to be a part of it and still be here to witness it, yeah.
How much of an opportunity is this for the Dream?
It's a big opportunity just to build a fan base here. I think we're going off to a hot start, to start in the second half of the season. So it's just really excited to get all eyes on us when we can.
In terms of what you guys I didn't know if we wanted to ask something for you about tonight's game and the importance of the playoff push as you're coming to the last stretch of the season.
Yeah, it's extremely important. I think every game matters for us, specifically just because of how we ended the first half of the season. But just seeing it as 0-0, just going in as a clean slate, and we've been handling it really well. There's a lot of growth on the coaching staff side and on our side, so we're just trying to show it forefront for our fans.
One more than the dynamic of this. What's it like to come into an arena that's packed here at home, but you're going to see a lot of either Kaitlyn Clark jerseys or Indiana Fever signs like that? How different does that become for you?
It's not different at all. I mean, for me personally, I've been in the league for 14 years. So, you know, I've played at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, where, you know, sometimes the fans is more versus for the other team versus for the Liberty because of who their favorite player is. I mean, when I started in the league, I was playing here, and you saw it all around. So it's not specific to Indy, not specific to Kaitlyn. It's just, you know, who you're following and just what it is. But again, the world's most famous arena is Madison Square Garden, and I've lived it, dreamed it, and it was a blessing. It was a good time.
Last time you guys played here, you already played here once, set the record for Georgia WNBA game this year, or for this game. You guys are really pushing to set the record tonight. What's the message for the fans to kind of come out here and make sure it's
just to enjoy and have fun? I don't get caught up in the hoopla of everything. You know, I'm really happy for Kaitlyn. I'm happy for Angel Reese. I'm happy for Cardoza. It's really beautiful for the women's game. I don't get caught up in it. I know we're going to get questioned by it. So just for the fans to enjoy the game, however it comes for you, you guys are going to see a great style of play. So you might leave here with one player you have in mind. You might leave with another. So it's really a blessing. It's to be a lot of fun.
After the Olympics break, you guys have been doing really well. I know you guys had injuries and everything like that. What has been working the last couple games? You guys 3-1 in this last couple.
Just staying together. I think just having, I obviously everyone knows there's a lot of minutes played between myself, Naz, Wright, and JC, and Alicia Gray. And just the camaraderie that's built between that five, and just how it's a snowball effect to our bench. And we just have a lot of great belief, as you can see. We're having a lot of fun. We're just staying together, so I think that's what's been helping us.
I guess, is there any difference playing, a little higher ceilings, a little bit more space than what usually is? I know.
Again, you asking someone who's been 14 years in the league. I started playing the league,
maybe not for you, but
playing here.
Else
No, because there's still arenas that is as this size. You still playing at the crypto arena. I think in Seattle they have a great arena, Indiana. So we're still playing in really great arenas. So no difference.
I forgot that.
All right, guys, that was Tina Charles, the woman who I think will be the game changer in this one. Okay, I always think that she's going to be the game changer simply because she is, as much as we talk about Ryan Howard being a baller, she is Tina Charles, the leader of the pack.
Well, and like you said, chip on the shoulder, right? There's a lot of star power that we're going to get to in this pregame show coming up on Atlanta News First, but Tina Charles is one of them, and she wants to be respected as one of them because she's been around the block. So I would not be surprised if that was all the case tonight.
Unfortunately, this show has to end, Connor. I hate it, but that'll do it for Sports Tonight. Our pregame coverage leading into tonight's game continues in just a few minutes on Atlanta News First, Peachtree TV, and Peachtree Sports Network. So pick your favorite and watch, okay? We'll be on the court at State Farm Arena and outside talking to fans leading up to tonight's 7:30 tip-off. And stick around for our post-game show with sound from the coaches and players. Sports Director Braley Burmaster, she'll be there. Guys, this whole night is going to be a treat for you, so just sit down, watch, and enjoy. Thank you so much.
Your home for live local high school football is Peachtree Sports Network. Don't miss the action every Friday night, only on PSN. Over the air on 17.2, on cable, and streaming on YouTube TV and Fubo. High school football on PSN is sponsored by Ingalls.
A local news team alerts you first before every storm, protects you with every investigation, and looks for all sides to every story. Atlanta's only locally owned news team is Atlanta News First.
We might be new, but we were built here. That means more breaking news that matters, more first alert weather helping you plan, and more honest reporting so you can make up your own mind.
The news you watch should be clear about their agenda.
At Atlanta News First, our agenda is you.
Set the record. The biggest WNBA game in Atlanta history. The Atlanta Dream look to even the score against Kaitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever. Get your tickets to the biggest dream game of the year and see why the WNBA is taking the nation by storm. Don't be left out when State Farm sells out. Monday, August 26th. Grab the hottest ticket in town now at dream.wnba.com.
An Amazon delivery gone wrong. 30 grand in damage.
We felt the entire impact. I mean, it was like an earthquake.
And an Atlanta couple looking for answers. So they called Atlanta News First because our agenda is you, protecting your rights.
All the evidence is here. I just don't understand.
Our investigation got their case reopened and exposes who is really delivering to your door. Tuesday at 5 on Atlanta News First. Our agenda is you.
Something monumental, covering all things football, is coming. Football's newest show breaks down all things NFL, from the plays to the players, from camp to kickoff, and everything in between, all year long. GMFB Overtime. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 11 a.m. starting September 2nd on Peachtree TV.
With your help, we raised more than $1.8 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and gave away a dream home. From all of us at Atlanta News First, thank you for helping support Atlanta families.
When your safety is on the line, time is everything. That's why we break news first. Your safety, your time, your peace of mind matters to us. Atlanta's only locally owned station. Atlanta News First. Our agenda is you.
Your home for live local high school football is Peachtree Sports Network. Don't miss the action every Friday night, only on PSN. Over the air on 17.2, on cable, and streaming on YouTube TV and Fubo. High school football on PSN is sponsored by McDonald's.